So the IoT will be defined like this. The Internet of Things is a connecting thing or objects like devices, vehicles, buildings, or any other items that will be embedded with some electronics, softwares, and some sensors. So along with the internet, it will be enabling the data in between. So this is an definition that we have seen yesterday. And you have to remember one fact, that we are going to assign an unique ID for each and every device that we are going to connect it to the internet. And this will be giving you the object to object communication without any human intervention. And in a simple way, we can say that IoT is an connected physical objects that are accessible through the internet. Either we may observe the value or we may control over that parameters, IoT devices. And what are the list of things that we have discussed? Especially in the home automation, the things are like your home lights or the heating elements, something like your thermostat or your ventilations, air conditions, home appliances like washer or dryer, air purifier, something like a refrigerator, freezer, everything comes under the category of home automation. So this is not the entire list. Whatever the electronic equipments or the objects that you find in the home, everything can be automated. You have to remember. Even your doors can be automated. For example, whenever the door has been opened, if you want to get a notification, it is dead easy in our IoT. Simply by connecting one sensor in the door, we can able to monitor that door for 24/7 of time. So even every small object can be monitored easily with the help of this particular IoT. So this we have discussed, and you have to remember that any other natural or man-made objects can be easily assigned with an IP address, so that it will be transferring the data over a internet. So that's called a thing. And we have saw something about the history where it was introduced in 1999. And here we will start from today's class. So what is IoT? So if you do not remember the definition, or if you do not remember what the concept was, everything is not a problem. You just look into this picture, and this particular picture will clearly explains you everything about IoT. Okay, so in a short form of explanation, you could remember this picture always. The first parameter available in our IoT is IoT devices, and second most important one is cloud, and third one is your remote. I just want to give a brief about each and every part of this particular picture. Okay, first of all, IoT device. So which will be called as an IoT device or IoT node, in exact IoT controller. Okay, so what it means that you will be having some microcontroller. So you may be aware of something like it will be doing some operations in microseconds. That's the name it why it is called as a microcontroller. But nowadays it is doing that operation in a very fast compared to that of microseconds. Even in nanoseconds, even in picoseconds, it can able to do some operations in the sense cut, copy, paste, saving, deleting, so many kinds. So whatever the task it is done by your computer is called as a one process. Okay, so it will be doing all those things in a microsecond. Okay, all those tasks in a microsecond, so that it will be called as a microcontroller. So you should have a microcontroller, because we are going to have some sensors and actuators. In order to properly control them, we are in need of an microcontroller. So that's a very first requirement for your IoT device. And the second most important thing is your sensor. So you know very well about the transducer, which may convert one form of energy into other form, right? So either physical form into electrical form, or electrical form into physical form, or physical form into another physical form, electrical form into another electrical form. So these kind of devices are called as a transducer. So under the transducer category, we have a special device called a sensor. Okay, what is meant by sensor? So it will observe the environmental parameters and that physical energy will be converted into a electrical energy. Okay, so that your controller will understand what is happening outside. Okay, so best example is our temperature sensor. Okay, so where the temperature is a physical form of energy that has to be converted into an electrical form, so that your device will understand that what is the amount of temperature available in that atmospheric. Likewise, okay, so for that we are in need of a sensor. So sensors are the second important part of this particular IoT device. And third one is your actuator. Suppose by measuring the sensor level, I just want to control some other electrical devices. The best example is your air cooler, right? So depending upon your room temperature, if you want to make an adjustment of the fan level, the AC fan level, if you want to adjust, then definitely you are in need of an actuator. So something like an fan controller, fan regulator controller will be there, right? In your switch box, you will be manually going into the switch box and you will be turning to different levels. So likewise, for adjusting your AC, you are provided with an remote controller, and that remote controller, with the help of that remote controller, we will be adjusting the fans level, right? So AC level, cooling level, everything. But instead, if you go with this IoT concept, what happens, automatically your devices will be actuated from the remote location itself. It will be controlling by itself, and we may have a manual control, or otherwise we may have an automated control. So suppose if you are setting one room temperature, automatically that fan level will be adjusted depending upon the rise and fall in the temperature level of that particular room. Nowadays this intelligence is added with your air cooler itself, but if you want to automate the existing system, then definitely you are in need of help from your IoT device. Okay, so the three major part available in your IoT devices are controller, your sensor, and your actuators. So all these things will be combined together into a single word called as an IoT device. And second most important thing is your cloud. So the important thing which will be generated by your IoT device is called valuable data, some useful data. It may be in any form, right? So your data may be in message, or it may be like text, or it may be a number like your temperature, humidity value, or it may be a command, or it may be something like pictures. Suppose if you want to know who is in front of my door at right this particular moment of time, then I can simply take a snapshot of that particular picture. So that may be my data, right? So your picture may be your data, your video may be your data, so anything else, right? So any format of your data will be available. So that will be the output of your IoT devices, and you have to store the data into the cloud. So that's our ultimate aim. So where do we find that much memory, right? So suppose if you connect your camera to the computer, it will be serving for you in a week of time, but not more than that. Suppose if you want to store more amount of data, ultimately you have to buy a very big size of system, right? So or otherwise you have to extend that peripheral devices. So instead, if you use a remote system, automatically by paying with a nominal cost, we can able to store all our data, right? So that is how we use our Gmail account, right? And also this will be available in a globally it will be available anywhere from the country. We can able to access our content anywhere from the world. We can able to access our content, so that facility is also added. So that's the reason why we are going to add all those parameters or the data into the cloud at first, instead of storing it in a local server. But there is a problem, what is called as security. Okay, so in the case of security, it is something less compared to that of the other technology. In IoT, this is the only problem. Okay, where if you are having your own data in some other's virtual location, automatically it will be threat to the hackers, right? So they will be easily taking your data, or miscommunications will go off. But for that you have to develop a better algorithm so that your data may be in a safer condition. But anyhow, if for easy accessibility, you have to store your data in a virtual location that is called a cloud. Okay, so in this case it is a virtual machine, it is residing somewhere else, and that particular manufacturer will charge a nominal cost depending upon the usage of that particular cloud. Okay, the amount of data that we are storing or the number of data that we are storing in a day or in a minute, likewise they will be charging. The best examples are like your Amazon cloud. Okay, so depending upon the number of hits, they will be charging you, okay, in a month. So likewise we may use any cloud. So the cloud plays an important role in our IoT. So without cloud, nothing will work from the remote location. It will work in the local system, but it won't work from the remote system. So for that, definitely we are in need of a cloud. And third one is your remote system. Remote systems are the one which will interact with the user, right? So for example, you are having an app for controlling your home appliances, in the sense this is your remote now, right? So from the from your mobile phone, you can able to control over all your electrical equipments, like you can turn on the light, you can turn off light, and you can adjust the AC volume and TV volume, you can adjust. Likewise you can control a number of parameters, right? And also in the case of your medical field, they will be given with some unique website address for each and every hospitals, or for one particular region of city or village, they will be given with some unique website address, so that you can log into that address and you can create your own account, and you can post your own data, like your health data you can able to post, so that your doctors may be able to see what is your present condition is, right? So that Chrome browser or the HTML website is another form of a remote system now, okay, right? So these are all some of the remote systems. So what you are going to do in that remote actually means you are going to analyze your data. Okay, the analysis can be done in 3 different places, either in your remote system or at the cloud side, or in your IoT device itself. Alright, suppose if you are going to analyze your data within the IoT device, it is called edge IoT. Okay, edge computing, where while collecting the data itself, we will be removing the unwanted things, the redundant things will be removed, and we will be taking only the required data into the cloud. Okay, so this reduces the number of bandwidth as well as the data rate. Okay, so that is called edge computing. Or otherwise you can do the analytics in the cloud. For example, I am setting one temperature sensor, not the temperature, temperature sensor in one particular location, one particular area called Satyamangalam, you assume, and after installing everything, my customer is asking me that instead of sending the temperature data every half an hour, he is in need of the data for 15 minutes once. That is, he is asking more data compared to that of the previous one, or something like this. Instead of getting the data in half an hour once, he is asking the data for 1 hour once. So in this situation, what you have to do, you have to go manually to the Satyamangalam place where you have installed your browser, installed your IoT devices, and you have to reprogram it to send the data for every 1 hour or every 15 minutes according to the customer need. So this is practically impossible when you are having more number of customers, and also it will add additional cost for your project. So it is a difficult thing, right? So instead Amazon is offering you a different service, where if you are setting number of data per minute, in the sense in already in your controller, then that could be adjusted easily from the cloud itself. Either you can reduce it to 15 minutes or increase it to 1 hour, whatever depending upon the customer's need. Okay, so this is easily possible in the case of your cloud analytics. So if you are doing some analytics in your cloud and you are getting some output from the cloud, means it is very good. And the third one is you can do the analytics in your remote system, but this definitely overload your device. Either your Chrome browser or your app will not be doing that. The best example is your Blink app, where the controlling operations may be entirely done with the help of Blink app itself. Okay, so that is a free version of IoT cloud. And from that we can do some analytics, and also we can extract that parameter in the form of graph, or in the form of some charts or list. Likewise we can able to get some extraction. So altogether your operation is like this. First of all, your IoT devices will be installed in a location, and that is called as an IoT node and or IoT client, and from that IoT client data will be extracted from the environment, and that will be sent to the cloud. And after analyzing the data in the cloud, and this will be remotely monitored by using some laptops or some mobile phone devices. And again, if you want to give some control to your IoT devices from the remote location, we can able to send that command to the IoT device, like turning on the light, turning off the light, or adjusting the level likewise. Okay, so this is called as an IoT architecture. So there are some famous quotes regarding IoT, right? So everything that can be automated will be automated. Okay, if you think that this particular operation is automated, means it is easily done with the help of IoT. So easily you can automate. And IoT is about embedding the intelligence, so things become smarter and do more than they were proposed to do, right? So actually we may suggested some of the works that is manually by going and adjusting the levels, but instead if you go with this particular IoT, then it will be added intelligence to that device, and things becomes smarter things. Okay, so once if you add this particular technology with any object, then that small things becomes a smarter thing. Okay, and next one is Internet of Things evolution, right? So we may have different representations for our IoT. So one way of representation is Internet of Everything, where it represents the open access to data from one or more monitoring and control system by third-party appliances to provide unique additional value to the stakeholders, right? So you can automate everything, in the sense this will comes under the category of Internet of Everything, where each and every object that you see can be automated, right? And likewise we may have a number of definitions that we are going to discuss in the forthcoming slides, and you have to understand where we are now. Okay, so in Internet of Things evaluation, there are some 5 different stages are available. First stage is connecting the devices, second one is collecting the data, and third one is accessing the data, and fourth one is complex analytics, and finally unique value. So these are all the 5 different stages in the Internet of Things evolution. So we shall see one by one now. So first one is a connected devices. So if you want to have a connected devices, we need to add some intelligence to that device. For example, as I told you before, if you want to automate your chair that is available in the conference call, then you have to know how many chairs have been filled or how many chairs are needed. Likewise, you are need a count. So this could be done with easily with the help of some sensors. You can place one sensor in your chair, so that whenever it is occupied, it will give you some reflection to the cloud. Okay, automatically by using some mobile app, you can see how many number of chairs have been occupied, and how to know how many number of chairs are required for that conference call. For that, you are in need of another one sensor which will count the number of peoples inside your conference call. Okay, and by tallying that number of chairs and number of persons, if the number of person exceeds, then automatically you know that there is a need of chair. So likewise, you have to connect each and every object to the internet. That is called connected devices. Okay, so that is your first stage. This we have done approximately 40%, right? And we have to get a connectivity for each and every objects that we are going to automate. So that one, and second one is the intelligence we have to add. It has to say that this particular chair has to be occupied by this particular person, likewise. Okay, so we may give some special guest sheets also. So in order not to sit somebody else, you have to give some comments via some text message or some by using some LCD display. Okay, so likewise we can add some intelligence to that connected devices, right? So this is our first stage of evaluation, and the second stage is that collecting some useful data, right? So your devices are connected, but are they collecting some useful data? means it is not. Okay, so we have to collect some useful data. For example, in your one particular area, the temperature may not be increased for at least half an hour once, right? So it won't change the temperature that much level between every 30 minutes. But instead, if you are collecting the unnecessary data in a millisecond or in a nanosecond, it is utter waste, right? So it will occupy more space and it will waste it. So you have to collect some useful data, right? And for collecting that particular data, you can use some appropriate sensors, right? So that will give you the exact values as well as the storage needed for that particular data. Okay, so this is where we are. Okay, so actually we have done these two things in our Internet of Things in a worldwide, right? So first we have connected devices and we have started collecting the data, but the next stage is most important, that is actually required now. Okay, so the accessing of data, right? So you have collected n number of datas from n number of objects, so that has to be stored in a specific location. So for that you are in need of an data access, right? So it is in the form of some cloud. Okay, so the cloud is nothing but a virtual location where you are going to post your data, and of course there is an procedure to store your data. You are in need of an open APIs for storing your data, and some standard should be there so that your data will be appropriately placed, because your data may be in a different format and different sizes, right? So your text message will be of smaller in size, your image data may be larger in size, and your video may be in largest size, right? So we will be having some different sizes and different data rates. So in order to match everything, we should have some proper standards to access your data into the cloud. So for that we are in need of the third stage of evaluation called accessing your data. And fourth stage is your complex analytics. So this is where you have to do some big data analytics, right? So after collecting all those data, we have to go for some complex analytics. Nowadays the number of data are larger in number, right? So we have connected about billions of devices to the cloud. So those billions of devices will produce some trillions of data, right? So per minute trillions of data that may produce. So we have to accommodate all those data into a cloud, as well as we have to go for some better analytics, right? So for that we are in need of some complex analytics system. So that is where your data science will come into act, where you have to put some specific algorithms to solve that problem, and you have to get some useful information from that stored data, right? So there you are in need of a complex analytics. So this is our next stage of evaluation, and security is the key challenge here, right? So since we have stored all our data into the cloud, so it is open access now. Everyone can access who knows the keyword, and so it is not that much secured as before. So you have to concentrate on this security as well. And at last we have to find the unique value. You consider this example. In future we are going to automate our car, autonomous car, right? So without any driver it is going to run in the road. Okay, so it may carry you from one place to the other place as like our taxi drivers nowadays doing. So it has to take a decision. Okay, so by analyzing the road conditions and the objects in the road, it has to come to a conclusion whether I have to drive that car or I have to stop driving. For example, some laymen may cross the road without knowing that car is entering, and that automated car has to sense that particular person, and automatically it has to take a decision whether to apply a brake or divert the car into a right side. Okay, so and also it has to ensure that the other side of the road is empty, right? Otherwise it may collide with some other cars, right? So likewise we have to come to a unique solution out of this particular analysis, right? So we have connected some data, right? So we have imposed some devices like a car, and we have added some sensors to notify the person, like a camera or some object detection sensors, and those data were exactly collected, and it is processed, and you have to come to a conclusion now, clear cut conclusion, as like human being do, right? As like a well experienced driver is taking decision, your system has to take some decision. That is called artificial intelligence. So by that we have to come to a unique solution. So that's our last stage of this Internet of Things evolution, and it takes a few years away to implement, and I hope so with the help of some engineers it will be done soon. And next part of the slide is various names and